Some shops in this area have access to this tunnel that leads to their base. They soon reach the gate that leads them to the space right below the Uryuta Temple, which is fashioned like a traditional Japanese house. The students can't believe their eyes as Nato tells them that this is the headquarters of the Kyoto division of the Oni Agency. Just then, a doctor comes out of a room, complaining about all the work he has to do, but his attitude suddenly changes when he sees Nato. The doctor greets him cheerfully and then starts fixing his hair as he notices the blonde baddie. She turns him down immediately, but that doesn't let the simp's heart get broken because he is actually used to rejections. Shin asks who this clown is and Nato introduces him as Kyoya, the commander of the support unit at the Kyoto base. Kyoya adds that he and Nato were classmates back in the academy, but Nato doesn't have time for his idle chatter. He decides to head to the front lines immediately, and Shin asks him to take him along as well. Other students also want to go with him rather than dealing with a weirdo like Kyoya, but Nato isn't going to listen to them. He tells Kyoya to use these brats as he pleases before he leaves, and just then, the nurse tells Kyoya to get back in and do his work. She notices the students from the academy as well and tells them to get changed immediately because they need all the help they can get. They get dressed as assistant nurses quickly and then go to the makeshift hospital, where dozens of injured Oni are crying out in pain. One of them has been brought in just now, and he has lost both his legs along with some other life-threatening injuries. Shiki is horrified to see his condition, and the nurse also says that he has at most 3 minutes left to live at this rate. Kyoya just smiles at him and says that they won't let him die, and Shiki snaps at him, asking him not to make such careless and fake promises. Kyoya appreciates his honesty and kindness, but tells him that he is kind of a big deal here, and he decides to show the kids how real support work is done. In another location, Tsubakiri and Yomogi have just finished dealing with the captain and vice captain of another group. The remaining Oni are terrified of them now, and Tsubakiri is disappointed that he will have to deal with another bunch of nobodies when he was expecting someone strong. Well, his wishes are granted immediately as Nato comes there and quickly activates his ability. Tsubakiri is pleased to see him, but Nato doesn't give him a chance to be happy for too long as he immediately unleashes his killer move on him. The Oni are really glad to see that Nato has come to save them, but Tsubakiri didn't take any damage from the previous attack as he used the dead Oni captain and vice captain as his meat shields. Turns out, he knows Nato already and he talks to him like they are old friends. He asks what is he doing in Kyoto because this is not his area. Tsubakiri then remarks that he has heard of a location where the Oni in Kyoto are gathering, and if he just wipes out that place, the entire problem will be solved. Nato keeps up his poker face as he says that he doesn't know anything about it, and Tsubakiri replies that he will give up if even Nato claims that the place is not real. He then says that he will go for sightseeing around the big temple instead, and Nato panics inside because he knows that Tsubakiri has really sharp instincts. He decides to stop him right here, and gets ready to fight seriously. Back in the headquarters, Kyoya inserts multiple blood pipes into his body and Shiki asks if they shouldn't be giving that blood to the injured instead. The nurse tells him to shut up and watch as Kyoya heads over to the most severely injured man. He asks him if he wants his hands or feet to regrow because he can't afford both right now. The man summons every bit of his strength to say that he wants his arms so that he can hug his children again. Kyoya promises that he will be able to do that, but this process is going to hurt like hell. He then slices his wrist open to pour his blood into the injured man's mouth, claiming that it boosts the healing ability of a normal Oni by many times. As soon as his blood starts showing effect, the man starts screaming in pain, and the nurse tells the students to hold him down. Shiki and others immediately follow her orders, and in the meantime, she tells the others to get more blood from the next room. Soon after that, something starts poking through the man's bandaged arms, and Shiki creeps out as he sees something that vaguely resembles human fingers. Other students get back too, and then suddenly, the injured man regenerates his arms, and even the severe burn wounds on his chest heal completely. Shiki immediately heads over to Kyoya, asking if they can regenerate his legs too, and he affirms but adds that they need to do it over time and using small doses of his blood. Since he has already consumed too much blood, the injured guy may develop antibodies if he drinks any more of it. Kyoya then heads over to the patient, telling him that he will be retired from the combat unit now, but he can join the support unit to help others out. He says that with a pair of prosthetics, he will be playing with his kids in no time, and the man is moved to tears on hearing that. Kyoya then turns to the students, telling them that they could be in the place of this guy in the future. He understands the glory chasing and aura farming that can only be done on the front lines, but he reminds them that people on the front lines can fight bravely only because there is someone to cover their back, and that is the support unit. Shiki and a few others are really impressed by him now, and they tell him that they are ready to help him in any way they can. Kyoya tells Shiki that he needs his help with another matter, and takes him to a depressed girl named Mei who was brought in yesterday after the Momotaro agency attacked her. Her parents are still missing, and Kyoya wants to use Shiki's kindness to make the girl feel better. Shiki takes up the job and tries talking to the girl, who gradually opens up to him. He asks her about school, and she tells him that she never went to school. As Shiki is wondering if the girl is a troublemaker like him, the support unit brings in some dead bodies from the battlefield, and Mei's parents are among them. She starts bawling like crazy as she sees them, and Kyoya says that he can't get used to such painful scenes even after all this time. However, there is a deeper and more sinister plan behind the corpses than anyone realizes. Tsubakiri tells Nato that he laced some Oni corpses with his bacteria, fully aware that the support unit will take them to their base to give them a proper funeral, and then he can control the corpses from a distance and destroy the base. Nato is shocked to hear this, and Tsubakiri decides to try if his plan succeeded. He awakens the corpse of Mei's dad while Shiki and Kyoya are distracted, and she is overjoyed, thinking that he is still alive. However, he starts strangling her under Tsubakiri's command, but Shiki and Kyoya are quick to notice it. Kyoya realizes that this is Tsubakiri's ability, and he immediately tells Shiki to cover Mei's eyes. He obeys the order, and then Kyoya pierces the man's brain with 2 sharp knives, rendering him immobile. Mei starts crying once Shiki lets her see what happened to her dad, and then Kyoya realizes that there might be more puppet zombies here just like this one. However, he realizes it too late because the zombie puppets have started moving, and Mei's mom suddenly gets up and attacks Shiki before he even realizes it. She starts strangling him, and Kyoya decides to neutralize her quickly. But before he can get the scalpels out, more zombies attack from behind, restraining him. Shiki can't do anything either, and his brain's oxygen supply slowly gets cut off, causing him to pass out. The same thing happens all over the headquarters, and the zombies start attacking the supporters carrying them first. The supporters are not even trained to fight, and because of the suddenness of the attack, they are easy targets for the zombies to subdue. At the same time, the zombies break into the room where all the serious patients are receiving treatment. They attack the patients and the nursing staff, and no one has any idea about how to solve the problem. Back in the other room, Shiki is somehow holding on to his consciousness as Mei cries and begs her mom to leave him. Shiki tells the girl to get away from the zombie because it is not her mother, but Mei doesn't even listen to him. Kyoya tries to help him, but the zombies knock him down. Seeing that no one is coming to help him, Shiki pulls out a Glock from his ass. Turns out that Nato had given him the gun on the boat, telling him that he was not skilled enough to control his blood yet, so if there is a need to fight, he should use a weapon he is familiar with. He also told him that the gun had Shiki's blood bullets instead of normal ammo, and that it would hit much harder. If there is a time to use the gun, it is now, and Shiki first pulls Mei close so that she doesn't have to see the bloodshed that comes next. He then points it at the zombie woman's head and pulls the trigger, putting an end to her. Shiki then catches his breath, while Kyoya is still bottoming for 3 zombies at once. Thankfully, Shiki recovers quickly and shoots a hole in each zombie's head, before helping Kyoya get up. Kyoya complains that the support unit is not ready for such situations, and he puts Shiki in charge of cleaning this mess while he evacuates the patients. In the main hall, the rest of the students are fighting with the zombies using just their fists because they are not sure about the situation yet. They wonder how to put the zombies down for good because they get back up no matter how severely they are injured. And just then, Shiki and Kyoya arrive there. Shiki tells everyone to aim for the brains, because that is the only way to stop the zombies. He immediately starts hitting headshots in all directions, and Jin is the first to follow his lead. Jin slices open his stitches and does some surgery on the zombies in front of him, and the others also gradually realize what they need to do. Using this chance, Kyoya commands the support staff to evacuate the patients and treat anyone who is freshly injured. Meanwhile, Shiki keeps firing at the zombies like his gun has infinite ammo, but he thinks that killing people who are already dead is the grossest thing he has done in his entire life. He starts getting first-hand trauma as he thinks that every zombie he kills was once a person who had family and friends who cared about them. He feels like he will cry at any moment now, and he wonders why they are hurting their own people when their enemy is the Momotaro Agency. On the other hand, Nato is still in a standoff with Tsubakiri. He decides to take him out in close combat, but Tsubakiri uses 3 dead Oni as his shield. Nato is pissed, but then he notices the monster Ugly next to him, ready to deliver a devastating blow. He somehow dodges the attack at the last moment, but Ugly smashes through the 3 Oni. Nato is not happy with this, and Tsubakiri tells him that he should be happy that the pests infecting this world are dead. Nato tells him that no matter how strong he is, he cannot win every battle as a loner, but Tsubakiri finds that ironic coming from another loner. His point is proven within seconds as the fodder Oni offer to support him, but he tells them to evacuate to safety because they will only hold him back. Tsubakiri tells him that no one is leaving this place, and he commands his assistant Momogi to do her job. Mommy Momogi steps up and uses her power, creating an impenetrable barrier around Nato and the other Oni that traps them in their place. Tsubakiri tells Nato that he can't leave this barrier until Momogi permits, and in the meantime, he will take a stroll around the Oni headquarters. Nato panics as Tsubakiri reveals that he planted transmitters on the all Oni corpses, and they all have gathered right under the Uryuta temple, so that must be the Oni headquarters. Tsubakiri starts walking towards the temple, and he commands Momogi to send Ugly inside the barrier. She gives the creature the permission to enter her barrier, and Nato gets ready to fight it. However, Tsubakiri says that this creature is mass-produced, so it is perfectly fine even if they sacrifice. He snaps his fingers and Ugly's belly suddenly starts swelling up. Nato realizes that it is going to self-destruct and tells everyone to get down, but there is not enough space in the tiny room for them to avoid the explosion that is powerful enough to shatter Momogi's barrier and destroy nearby buildings. Momogi asks if they should double-check to make sure that Nato is dead, but Tsubakiri tells her that there is too much smoke there and he doesn't want his uniform to get dirty. That turns out to be a mistake because despite being unconscious, Nato doesn't seem to have any major visible injuries. Back in the headquarters, Shiki and others have finally managed to defeat all the zombies, and Kyoya has also transported the patients to a safer location. He thinks their problems are solved with this, but then he notices Mei, who is staring blankly